Hi guys, Milship here, and today I'll be doing my 2023 to 2024 Championship predictions. But before we get started on today's video, I just wanted to address the tragic news that came out the other week. Of course, on the 4th of July, the awful news came out that Mill chairman John Berylson had tragically passed away, and us Mill fans, we're a very picky bunch, and the fact that not one Mill fan ever had a bad word to say about the man just shows you how much of a great chairman and a great person he really was. So my thoughts go out to his friends and family at this awful time. So let's get back onto the video. So for 24th place, I've gone for Rotherham, and I just think they're too much of a small club to really compete in this season's championship because it is a really tough division this year. And of course, they've lost their main man to Luton, Obgene, I think his name is. I'm pretty sure I've butchered his name, so please do let me know if I have it in the comments. But yeah, I think they're too much of a small club to really compete this season, so I see them finishing rock bottom. For 23rd place, I've gone for Plymouth, and by the way, I'm gutted Plymouth away is on a Tuesday night for us because I would have loved going there. But anyway, I just think, like Rotherham, they are too much of a small club for the Championship, and I know they lost Niall Ennis to Blackburn, who scored a few goals for them last season, so this season I do see them struggling big time. For 22nd place, I've gone for QPR. I saw they lost Dieng, their goalkeeper, to Middlesbrough, and of course, Gareth Ainsworth is their manager. Great League One manager, but Championship manager, I'm not sure, so I see them heading to League One next season. For 21st place, I've gone for Sheffield Wednesday, and of course they just got promoted via the playoffs, and at this stage of the transfer window, according to some transfer website, they've only signed one player, and that's a fullback from Blackpool, and at this stage of the transfer window, that is a bit concerning, so I see them struggling this year, but not going down. For 20th place, I've gone for Ipswich, and surprisingly, in a lot of these, I've seen loads of people back them to get the playoffs, and yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't really understand the hype. I think they'll stay up this season, which will be a good year for them, but yeah, I'm not sure they've made enough exciting signings to see them get the playoffs. Right then, this one's a big call. I've gone for Coventry to finish 19th, and I have a feeling they'll do exactly what Huddersfield did and flop big time after getting into a playoff final. And of course, they lost their main man, Gyökeres, to Sporting Lisbon, and I know they brought in Ellis Sims, but I don't think Ellis Sims is going to do anywhere near as good as Gyökeres did for them. So yeah, I see them struggling big time this year. For 18th place, I've gone for Swansea, and of course they've lost some key players in this transfer window, and in these prediction videos, I always seem to back them to do well, and they always let me down, so I've learnt my lesson. For 17th place, I've gone for Huddersfield, and like Sheffield Wednesday, their lack of signings is a bit concerning, but they're managed by the legend himself, Neil Warnock, so I'm sure he'll keep them up again. For 16th place, I've gone for Stoke, and let's be honest, they always end up around this position. I borderline feel bad for them because they've just gone through years of absolute boredom. They've signed players like Ben Pearson and Stevens, a bit of experience, maybe that can help them go for a playoff push. We'll have to wait and see. For 15th place, I've gone for Hull City, and I think they'll finish exactly the same as they did last season. And I saw they got Delap on loan from Man City, but I think he was a bit poor at Preston last season, so ultimately I see Hull having another underwhelming season. For 14th place, I've gone for Preston, and like Hull and Stoke really, they always end up around this position, and they haven't really made any big signings that have made me jump out of my seat, so I see them having another average season really. For 13th place, I've gone for Birmingham, and they've actually made some decent signings for once, it feels. They've signed that Dion Anderson, they've got him back actually, shall I say, and they got Dembele from Bournemouth, so they've actually made some decent signings, and I have a feeling they'll start the season off really well, but then drop off a bit at the end and finish a respectable 13th place, better than they usually do anyway. For 12th place, I've gone for Bristol City, and like Birmingham, they have made some decent signings, like Rob Dickey from QPR and McRoy from the Scottish League, I believe, and also like Birmingham, I do see them starting off well, but then drifting off a bit at the end of the season and finishing mid-table. For 11th place, I've gone for Blackburn. Of course, they've lost their main man, Ben Bertrand-Diaz, to Villarreal, I believe it is. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. And to replace him, they've brought in Niall Dennis, who I mentioned in the video earlier. And yeah, are they on the same level? I don't think so. For 10th place, I've gone for Sunderland. Of course, last season they had a very impressive first year back in the Championship, getting into the playoffs, getting in on the last day. It still hurts. And of course, they lost their main man, Amad Diallo. He's gone back to United. So I think that will hinder them, but I still think they'll have a decent season and finish in a respectable 10th place. For 9th place, I've gone for Millwall, and to be fair, I'm really not sure how we're going to do this season. After how we ended last year, I was convinced that this season we were going to go on and drop a stinker, but I just feel like after the death of our chairman, I feel like that will give our players an extra bit of firepower to do it for him, if you like. And to be fair, we have made some decent signings, bringing in Kevin Nisbet and Joe Bryan. So yeah, I'm really not sure. I'm going to go for a 9th place finish and we'll see how it goes. For 8th place, I've gone for Cardiff, and I can tell you for a fact, if they didn't just randomly sign a world-class player in Aaron Ramsey, then I definitely would not have them this high. I think he'll definitely carry them to not a playoff finish, but definitely a respectable 8th place finish. For 7th place, I've gone for Watford. Of course, they have lost their main man, João Pedro, to Brighton, I believe it is, and obviously last season they were quite poor, and they have still got quality in their side, and I think them quality players will step up this season a bit and perform a bit better, but ultimately I still think they'll miss out on the playoffs. For 6th place, I've gone for West Brom, and like Watford last season, they were underwhelming, but unlike Watford this season, I do see them getting the playoffs, even though it will be hard seeing Jed Wallace get the playoffs without us. For 5th place, I've gone for Norwich. Of course, usually when they're in the Championship, they usually walk the league, but last season that was not the case, but this year they've added some experience into the squad, so I see this year them being back at it and getting a playoff place. For 4th place, I've gone for Leeds, and oh wow, I am buzzing to play them this season. It's been far too long, but back to the topic. Of course, I don't think at the time of recording they've actually signed anyone yet, but they have appointed Daniel Farquhar as manager, who does know how to get promoted from this division, so I have no doubt that they will be up there this season and get a 4th place finish. For 3rd place, I've gone for Southampton, and yeah, I think they'll definitely be looking to head straight back up to the Premier League. I'm pretty sure they've signed the Man City youngster for over 10 million, and at the time of recording, they have still got Ward-Prowse, but I would be stunned if he's still there by the time the season starts. For 2nd place, this one's quite a big call really. I've gone for Middlesbrough. Of course, last season they started off really poor, then sacked their manager, then brought in Michael Carrick, and then he guided them to a playoff spot. So I think for a full season under Michael Carrick, I reckon he'll guide them to a 2nd place finish. For 1st place, I've gone with Leicester, and mate, I'll be absolutely bamboozled if they don't win the league this season, if they don't walk the league this season. The amount of quality players they've got in their squad, the amount of Premier League proven players they've got in their squad, Jamie Vardy, Harry Winks, Connor Cody, Castagne. I mean, it will be quite embarrassing if they don't piss the league this season. Well, there you go. There are my 2023 to 2024 Championship predictions. Let me know your thoughts on my predictions in the comments, and feel free to leave yours in the comments also. And I won't be at the Sutton game on the 18th, but I will be at the Charlton game at home on the 25th, so I'll see you then. Come on, you Lions.